Ang ating ikalawang tagapagsalita ay kasalukuyang Executive Director at Cerebral Palsy Rehabilitation Foundation Incorporation. Isa siyang physiotherapist, CPR practitioner, and consultant na nagpa-facilitate at nagsusupport sa pagsama-sama at pagtutulong-tulong ng iba't ibang miyembro ng community. At higit sa lahat, ang pagiging bahagi ng isang person with disability at ang kanyang pamilya sa pagbuo at pagtaguyod ng mga program para sa PWD sector. Narito po ang ating kalawang panauhin, Ms. Shella Marie Tugonon.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Shella Marie Tugonon po, isa pong physical therapist from CPRef. So, for so many years, we've been working in the community and nagsimula kami sa Tondo, Manila. At for several years, umiikot na kami sa iba't ibang parte ng bansa to help families of children and youth with disability. So, what I will be discussing more about is about cerebral palsy and some other disabilities as well. I just want the participants of this webinar to remember 6 important words na meron sa disability. The slide, please. Okay. So, everyone, I want you to remember 6 important words in disability, especially among children. Next slide po. So when we talk about different health conditions, meron tayong tinatawag at sinusunod sa World Health Organization. Ang tawag ay ICF, International Classification of Functioning Health and Disability. So ito po ay isang framework na tinitingnan po nito ang totalidad ng isang taong may health condition na tinitingnan dito na hindi lang dahil sa kanya na may sakit or merong specific health condition ang nagiging problema ng community. So, next slide po. So, kung titingnan natin yung framework na ito po, gusto ko po matandaan nyo to by heart. So, makikita nyo sa ibabaw may health condition at nakikita natin, for example, cerebral palsy. Tingnan po natin kung ang tao po o bata ay mayroong cerebral palsy, ano kaya yung mga structure at function ng katawan niya na affected. So, listening at Doktora Happy a while ago, so nakita ninyo na most of the time, ang apektado talaga ay the arms and the limbs, and yet hindi ito naging hadlang para magkaroon ng function and participation po ang batang may cerebral palsy sa pinakita niya po mga videos. Titingnan din natin, kapag tinitingnan natin ang batang may cerebral palsy, tingnan natin ano ba yung mga aktibidades sa buhay niya inside the house, within the community, and the whole totality of the society. Ano ba yung mga nahihirapan siyang gawin? Next would be, ano ba ang participation? Lahat po ng bata ay may karapatang mag-participate. Lalong-lalo na po ang mga batang may kapansanan kahit po may cerebral palsy pa po sila. Pag sinabi natin kung participation, ito po yung sinasabing, nakakaaral po ba siya? Primarily, ang isang bata po ay dapat naglalaro. Ang primary way of learning and developing ng isang bata ay through play. So, ang mga bata po natin, kung may cerebral palsy man sila, kahit na po ba ang mata lang nila o ang leeg lang nila ang gumagalaw, you should always look at ano ba yung nagiging response niya. May participation ba siya? Pag sinabi niya, gusto kong kumain, pag tinanong niya, gusto mo ba kumain? Igagalaw niya yung bibig niya, that is part of participation. Ibig sabihin, makakadesisyon siya for himself, even with the difficulty in mobility. You just have to look at the whole body system. Paano ba nagko-communicate ang mga batang may cerebral palsy? Next is we'll look at the environment. Yung environment po natin, kung titingnan natin, hindi lang yung physical environment na palagi nating sinasabi na sa totoo lang po, ang Pilipinas ay hindi pa po tayo accessible. So kahit saan, minsan pag may mapupuntahan tayong public places, talaga naman pong hirap na hirap, lalo na po ang mga bata at mga taong may cerebral palsy, sa accessibility po ng paligid natin. But meron din po tayong kinoconsider sa environment natin. We're also looking at attitude. Ano po ba ang attitude ng tao pagdating sa mga tao may kapansanan at may cerebral palsy po ba? Positive ba o negative? Titingnan natin yon. So titingnan din natin yung society ba natin. Maganda na ba ang pag-accept nila sa family at saka persons with disability, lalong-lalo na yung may mga cerebral palsy? Kamusta na po ba? Welcome po ba sila na magkaroon ng trabaho, mag-aral, kahit hanggang kolehiyo? Yun po yung titingnan natin dito sa ICF na sinasabi. Titingnan din po natin, ano po ba yung personal factor? Nakita ko po sa grupo na ito, nag-create ng grupo na ito, no? So there are persons with disability and yet they have so much capacity to manage things like this. So mamaya, palakpakan naman natin silang lahat, ano? So nakita natin, even Doktora Happy, no? Meron niya mga personal factors sa sarili nila. Mataas ba ang kumpiyansa nila sa sarili nila o mababa? Na mataas ba ang kanilang suporta from their family kaya bag mataas ang kumpiyansa nila? Yun ang titingnan natin kasi part of this po, kung titingnan niyo po yung buong ICF, kailangan tingnan natin ang taong may kapansanan at may cerebral palsy in the totality po. At hindi lang po siya, kundi ang environment. So next slide po. So pag sinabi po nating ICF, titingnan natin no, yung paano ba minamanage ang mga batang may kapansanan. Dapat po may continuum of care from childhood to midlife to adulthood to senior citizen. Meron po tayong mga may cerebral palsy at may karapatan po silang ma-enjoy naman po nila ang buhay. At dapat po nagpa-function sila well sa community wherein they are welcome po. So next slide po. So kapag ka po iniisip natin cerebral palsy, no, madalas po kami pang mga health professionals, mga physical therapists, OT, speech, rehab doctors, at mga developmental pediatrician, at marami pa pong iba, minsan titingnan namin palagi, ano ba yung history? So yung sinabi ni Doktora, no, it could be perinatal, at postnatal. So pwedeng mangyari habang nagbubuntis, habang pinapanganak, at pwedeng mangyari rin kung pinanganak na dahil sa mga infection. Okay? So kami, we look at the patient or mga persons with disability, in-examine namin. Ang tingin lang noon sa mga may cerebral palsy at may mga kapansanan ay isang subject at pasyente lang ang madalas na tawag namin. But over the years, naisip palagi dati ng mga tao na nasa medical field ay people with cerebral palsy and disability need some fixing. So hindi na po yan. Sa panahon ngayon, we don't see persons with cerebral palsy as somebody who needs fixing. Okay? So next slide po. Okay. Before we all thought that disability is just about fixing. So tanggalin na po natin yung term na fixing ha. So kung pupunta kayo sa doktor, sa PT, sa OT, sa speech, so palagi niyong iisipin na hindi ko kailangan ng fix. Kailangan kong mag-work together with the professionals para sabihin ko rin ano bang goal ko sa anak ko o ano bang goal ko bilang taong may cerebral palsy, bakit ako lumalapit sa kanila. Okay, next slide po. So there are people with a lot of different conditions, no? Lalo na ang cerebral palsy. Sama-sama na pong impairment ang meron sila. Hindi lang po mobility ang problema nila. Minsan may problema rin po sila sa vision. Napansin niyo po ba? Medyo parang nagkakaroon po ng pumapasok yung mata sa loob or nasa gilid, which makes it difficult also for them to move. Some of them may specific type of cerebral palsy na mahina po ang pandinig. At meron naman po may difficulty in speech. Pero marami rin po sa kanila na movement lang ang problema, pero the way they think is at par at their age at kaya na lang mag-desisyon para sa sarili nila. So next slide po. Okay, so balikan po natin. So ayan nga po kanina, no, diniscuss natin. Susunod pa po. Next slide po. Okay. So number one is, well, we wanted to remember letter F. Number one is functioning. So lahat po ng mga bata at mga tao may kapansanan, kailangan po palaging tinitingnan natin ano po ba yung mga function na nagagawa nila sa araw-araw. Pag sinabi nating function, kahit po ba na itataas nila yung kamay nila, ano po bang sense na itataas yung kamay? Di ba po? Kaya kailangan natin tinitrain for therapy ang fine motor, ang gross motor, para po magamit niya sa pagdamit, sa pagkain, sa paggalaw, sa pinakita po ni Dr. Happy, para po maging atleta, maging dancer, maging estudyante, at even maging doktor. So functioning po ang very important na tatandaan natin for our children. Hindi lang po specific na paggalaw lang. Kasi gusto natin maging functional sila at matuto po sila para sa sarili nila. Next slide po. Number 2, all children, especially children with cerebral palsy, they need to be fit. Okay? How do they become fit? They need to be engaged in exercises. Ma'am Shella, paano po yung matigas? Paano po yung sinasabi ni Dr. Happy na spastic quadriplegic? Kahit po may matigas sa kanila o hindi sila, may spasticity sila, kailangan din po ay ine-exercise sila. But primarily, titignan po natin ang kanilang nutrition. Tama po ba yung pagkain na kinakain nila? O palagi ba tayo naka-noodles? Palagi na lang po bang gatas ang iniinom ng anak ninyo? So kaya po very important na banggit ni Dr. Happy a while ago, no, na you need to consult doctors and professionals para makita kahit po mag-therapy tayo ng araw-araw, kung ang nutrition ng bata ay very poor, mahihirapan po tayo. So fitness comes with the food we eat, the right number of sleep, the hours of sleep, and being fit is doing the exercises and support po ng ating family members and the community is part of the fitness program. So hindi lang dapat sa loob ng bahay, ang community ba natin may mga fitness program for persons with disability? Hindi ba pwedeng sumali ang may cerebral palsy sa mga Zumba at other activities ng ating barangay? Di ba kaya naman? Tama ba? Sige, next slide po. Third letter F na gusto naming matandaan ninyo are friends. Are all children and youth with cerebral palsy, do you have many friends? Sometimes, may discrimination pa rin. To be honest, may stigma pa rin. Diba? So we have to face all these things. So the family and the community has to realize that children and youth with cerebral palsy are just like the same other kids in the community. They need friends and they need to be in socialization activities with them. So parents ha, hindi po ibig sabihin kahit may cerebral palsy ang anak ninyo, bawal ilabas kasi pinoprotection na sila against viruses or infections. They need that to see other people so that they will have more understanding of why there are people around them at para matuto silang mag-socialize. In as simple as pag-smile, in as simple as sa pag-say ng oo. So, tingnan natin, no? So, dapat merong tinatawag na friends na may disability o wala. Kailangan ng mga anak nyo makabuild ng friends. Okay? So, next slide po. Number 4 na letter F. Children and youth with disability and with cerebral palsy needs family support. Napakalaki po ng role ng family. If the acceptance is not coming from the family, mahihirapan po tayo. So, we have to think, parents, mga lolo at lola, alam natin, mahal natin ang mga anak natin at mga apo natin na may cerebral palsy, no? But then, sometimes they want to go out. They want to do some things. Even if the difficulty with the movement, gusto po nila na magkaroon pa sila ng more activities. So sana po, pagbigyan natin sila at suportahan natin sila doon sa kakayanan nila. Pwede naman po silang maging part ng inyong family at acceptance po is very, very important. Plus, as therapists po, as allied medical professional members po, gusto po namin, pag nag-goal setting kami, kayo rin po ang tinatanong dapat namin. Kung kaya po mag-desisyon ng mga cerebral palsy, ang gagawin po natin, kahit sila, dapat sila ang mag-goal set. Ano bang gusto mo, kuya? Katulad ni Kuya Dondon. Matagal na po namin nakatrabaho si Kuya Dondon. Si Kuya Dondon, kaya mag-decide sa sarili niya. So the family is always very important, especially for children and youth with cerebral palsy. Next slide, please. Number 5, children and youth with disabilities and cerebral palsy, they need to have fun. Fun in the way of their capacity. Pwede naman maglaro kahit naka-wheelchair. Pwede naman nakalaro. Pwede naman maglaro kahit nakaupo lang sa special seat, di ba? Pwede naman siya ilabas at mapanood niya yung mga batang naglalaro. And when the child starts to smile, then you will know that this child is enjoying and having fun. And this is also a good start for them to have socialization. So even with cerebral palsy, difficulty of movement, difficulty of seeing, they need to have fun. So next slide po. Next is number 6. Finally, we want a future for all these children, youth, and adults with disability. How can we create that future? We must have look at family, the person with cerebral palsy. We look at the community. The future will not be bright kung hindi magwo-work together ang lahat ng ito. And most especially, our government must have that responsibility to make the right deal for every children and youth with cerebral palsy. So even with the access of health, education, socialization opportunities, livelihood programs, and even empowerment. Kaya gusto natin ma-develop yung mga batang may cerebral palsy. They're very intelligent. They can join children's organization or youth organization. So sana at even at the barangay level, sana magkaroon ng opportunity ang mga batang ito na ma-invite at be part of the SK program or even some of the health and fitness program ng ating barangay. So we want a better future for them. Lahat po tayo gusto ng better future, most especially for persons with cerebral palsy. So gusto natin yung 6 na F. So we want function, fitness, friends, having fun, the family, and finally, we want a good future for them. So next slide po. Okay. So gusto ko, tandaan nyo palagi itong framework na ito po. Na all together, if all these things can be done ng isang bata na may cerebral palsy at ang kanyang pamilya, then life will not be difficult for them. So let's give them an opportunity to be part of our community and part of the school and part of the job, working community. Maraming salamat po at I know in the future, marami pong may cerebral palsy na makaka-contribute sa community and they can even become leaders in the future. So with that, yun lang po ang gusto kong sabihin about children and youth with cerebral palsy. They can have and must enjoy all the F words that I have described. So ito, in the end, next slide po. In the end, ito yung gusto natin. Lahat ng government facilities, the LGUs, and even NGOs, ito yung endpoint, community-based rehabilitation. Children with cerebral palsy need not to be in a center-based only. They need to be out there in the community so that people will understand that they themselves has the capacity to be part of a society na magiging makabuluhan ang kanilang buhay. So, next slide po. Thank you very much. This is Shella Tugonon, a physical therapist from CPRef. Maraming salamat. Have a good day and congratulations to the facilitators and the resource people of this webinar. Maraming salamat and happy Cerebral Palsy Month po to everyone. So parents, huwag mawawala ng pag-asa. Laban lang. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Nandito tayo sa isang doktor at nurse. Natatapos lang ang ibinahagi ni Ma'am Shella report.
nakaka-inspire ang mga binahagi ni Miss Shella kung paano niya tinutulungan ang mga pasyente
Hello.
na maitupid ang bawat araw sa kabila ng mga hamon ng pagkakaroon ng cerebral palsy. Maraming salamat, Miss Shella.
Kaya naman, iniimbitahan namin kayo na mag-iwan ng mga messages, likes, thumbs up at hearts para sa may pakita ang pagpapahalaga natin sa mga magagandang binahagi ng ating speakers.
Tama po, at sa mga nanonood sa ating FB Live, kung meron po kayong mga katanungan, maaari niyo po itong i-type sa ating thread. Lahat po ng inyong katanungan ay ibibigay natin sa ating speaker mamaya sa Q&A.